know, the, whatever the kids got me,
It's nice of them to share.
right? Yeah.
So you want me to do another comma? Yeah. Want, you're that in there, you can put that.
We ready to stream to the world? All right. Good evening. I'd like to call the Town of Delafield Board of Supervisors meeting for Tuesday, February 25th to order. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call the roll, please.
Supervisor Mahoney Ogden.
Present.
Supervisor Miller.
Present.
Supervisor Wolfley.
Present?
Supervisor Berkowitz.
Present.
Chairman Kranek.
Present.
Thank you.
Citizens' comments, public comments from citizens regarding items not on or not on the agenda. The board may not engage in discussion with the citizen making the comments. Individual presentations are limited to 3 minutes, and citizens shall follow the rules set forth in section 2.04, paren 1, paren D of the town code. Is there anyone who'd like to speak? Please come to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
My name is Tyler Sack, W300 North 1140 McDowell Road. Just kind of here for support of the item on number 7 for the ATV, UTV. And think it's a great idea.
Thank you.
Can we ask you, just, because this is my question, how do you intend to use it? Just give us why you're supportive of it, please.
Well, it would be really nice to be able to take a UTV from, I live right in the subdivision behind us here, basically, and to be able to get down to the west launch, you know, legally. That would be the ticket. Beyond that, I mean, I'm not really looking to like cruise around or anything, but to go from, it's hard to get to any launch without putting it on a trailer, and, you know, gets to be pretty tied up. It's nice to sometimes be able to drive just on, if you go down by the Walk Island Road, you can drive right on there, but you can't put a trailer or anything down there. So,
For summer and winter, for when the lake's frozen and not
I know
frozen?
Pewaukee just went winter, so we gotta start somewhere here, you know, and winter would be fine, but it would be very helpful, say, this coming summer, because they wanna pave that lot, so they're gonna have half the lot closed down, and it would be a lot easier to take a jet ski or something down there with the UTV than it would a pickup truck, and have, you know, all that bigger apparatus down there.
All right, thank you.
So,
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Mr. Meyer?
Hans Meyer, W290N3030 Hillcrest Drive. Two issues, one procedural, one an encouragement. I've tried to do a little bit of research on the Pewaukee Lake Committee, how it was formed, who it was authorized by. I assume, but I haven't seen the documentation, that the 3 municipalities said, why don't we have a common body that advises us about lake issues? And that's as much as I know, but if it's an advisory body, well, then it can advise the 3 municipalities to do something. But it isn't until the 3 municipalities, or at least 2 of them, not sure about that part, actually vote to do something that you can do something. So I think we're missing something here. At the last meeting, Terry came in and reported on the Pewaukee Lake Committee meeting. And it seems to me that at some point, you guys need to vote, yes, we want to go along with the recommendations that were made, or no, we don't want to do that. Procedural, okay. Second, assuming you do go along with the recommendations, There was talk, again, which Sherry described about an educational effort. And actually, at the Pewaukee Lake Committee, she proposed that a letter be sent out to riparian owners about these new recommendations. And I want to just second that a lot of our riparian owners may or may not ever get to a launch and see these new recommendations, number one. Number two, part of the boating industry's thrust, which is very good, is that education is the answer, not regulation. Well, then here's a perfect opportunity to educate. And so I brought along a handout, not thinking that you're going to use it specifically, but it does have all of the issues that are being discussed. It does not have the relative merit of that. But anyway, so I'm just going to leave it. It's a fun little thing in any event. So there's one for each of you. So anyway, my encouragement to you to do a riparian letter. I don't know if you'd want to do all of the residents of Delafield or if just the riparians, but I think getting information to them about what these recommendations are would be very helpful.
Thank you.
Good,
Appreciate
thanks.
it. Seeing no other citizens, I'm going to close the citizens' comment period. Next time on the agenda, I look for approval of the minutes of the February 11th, 2026 meeting.
I motion to approve the minutes with one minor change with the report out on top of page 2 to just inclusion of when we have various concerns such as lake shore lighting, comma, wake surfing, ice shanties, jet skis.
Is there a second?
A second.
Motion and a second to approve the minutes with the amendment by Supervisor Mahoney-Ogden. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Or, sorry, I didn't vote. I wasn't here, so.
Okay. Motion passes 4-0 with one abstention by Supervisor Wolfley, who was absent at the last meeting. Next item would be actions on vouchers submitted for payment, accounts payable and payroll. I'll make a motion to approve checks numbers 68379 through 68391, check 68393, and checks 68398 through 68472 in the amount of $5,299,350.47, and a motion to approve payrolls dated February 28th in the amount of $19,321.51.
Second.
Can you just clarify what was the first one about? I'm sorry, just,
It's the tax payments to the school districts.
okay, so just like last month too, then?
Yeah.
The continuation, okay. Thank you. Fine, Joe. I mean, second was fine, I just didn't get my question first.
Okay.
Motion and second to approve those. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? They're approved 5-0. Next item, communication discussion regarding all-terrain vehicles, UTV vehicle operations. As Mr. Sacca addressed us during citizens' comments, he just wants to legally be able to get to the launch. And, you know, the fact that the city has done something, I know Muskego and McWanago have done something, and it just seems like the town is kind of becoming an island, so I just wanted to bring this up and address it. If the sheriff's department was here, I'd ask them to come and kind of maybe talk to us about the legality of UTVs and ATVs on town roads. I would appreciate, you know, if they could educate us on the legality of it, if it's legal today or if it's not legal, or what the sheriff's department's thoughts are on that. I know the city of Pewaukee just recently passed an ordinance to allow it, so. If you would come to the podium, I'd appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I know that we are in the works with the town of Eagle. It looks like they're starting up an ATV thing, so we just got basically guidance regarding that, regarding the town of Delafield as far as I'm concerned. as far as I know, I don't know the ordinance as well with the town of Delafield, so we'd have to get more experience with the town of Eagle, who just started up, and we could obviously provide you guys what they're doing.
Sure. Yeah, so really, it's on the agenda as a discussion, to communication, to see what the appetite of this board is to kind of direct myself and Administrator Lukey to do the research and see what it would take to make it, legal and what guidance we could provide to allow allow folks to use their ATVs and UTVs on town roads. So,
Are snowmobiles allowed to access the lake from his location right now? What would the ruling be on snowmobiles? Is there anything for the town right now with snowmobiles?
I don't believe you're allowed to use your snowmobiles on public roads
Or on the side of
or on
it?
the side of it.
Yeah, public roads would be no with ATVs. I think if you're on the public easement, that also still qualifies, but I could be wrong regarding how your ordinances are set, but if it's private property getting access onto the lake, general, once they're on the lake, it's,
Then you're fine.
yeah.
And then you're just under the winter ordinances for the lake.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think the first challenge is to gauge how much more traffic our police officer would have to deal with. And we don't really have any knowledge of how many people own UTVs, ATVs in this town, but
That was my question too, is what's your gut feeling? I know you're kind of new, but if this were to happen, my gut feeling was, but I think I'm looking at different ways, that this could be good for traffic. That's why I would love to know what you think. Because you think if we all of a sudden have some UTV or ATVs out, then the normal traffic might have to slow down a little bit because, we've got, so it might bring traffic down. Because I was actually reading this, I understood that part of it was, yes, it's a way to get to the lake, and that would help the clutter of big vehicles being at the lake. But I was actually thinking that this would also be a way that you could go and visit your neighbor. You could go to the bar. You could go to
You'll
a
get a
farm field.
DUI on a UTV.
Legally.
Well, yes, within.
And I understand, so that was how I am, and that's how I was reading this too, is not just to go to the lake. So would it be also, and I mean, I personally, I think it seems, we are a town, I like the feeling, I think it makes it seem more rural. So I liked it. I was loving to know, from a sheriff perspective, how do you think it's going to affect traffic?
I mean, I have no opinion on it one way or the other. Obviously, that's up to you guys. But if it were to be passed, they're just like any other motor vehicle where we have to maintain everybody's safety.
Right.
They still have to follow the rules of the road.
Yes?
And specific town ordinances, should you implement them. So, I mean, that falls on us to make sure that if it either increases or decreases, that falls on us to make sure that everybody still is following the rules of the road and being safe for everybody, so. But in terms of if it increases or decreases, I have no idea.
So is the appetite to get people, I was asking you, is it winter? Because like I said, I was just looking at it for all town roads, and if it's the appetite is to get to the lake, do you think that it's going to make the lake more crowded then because more people can get on, which I know everybody has rights to the lake, so, I mean, I'm just brainstorming. I like the idea, I'm just trying to think of all angles.
Sure.
But one of the things said on during the Pewaukee meeting was, had the way to get the trucks and trailers on, especially next to each other. We've had pretty bad ice this year. Well, strange ice. Get the bigger vehicles off the lake if we could just. Take some of the big vehicles off the lake.
How do you regulate the launch? Trucks right now have to pay for a pass.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely would have to understand and talk to our friends at the county and work with the sheriff's department, and, I mean, I don't think it's something that's gonna happen overnight. It's gonna take, some some time to work on an ordinance and to make sure that all the stakeholders, provide their input. But before I took any further action, I wanted to kind of get the blessing of this body.
I'm personally in favor of it. I think it's, to your point, adding a rural, aspect to our community. I have nothing against it
So what
personally.
if we say as a board that we in general are in favor of it, and maybe we all aren't, but is our next step then to dictate what town, or to try to say what town roads, or does it just become any town road? And I understand that you still have to, I know Pewaukee made specific ones, so that's, I guess, my question, what are we doing?
It's my understanding that that this board would, or, staff would help come up with, kind of authorized ATV, UTV routes, and then, we'd have to, purchase signs and mark that route, and then have to make sure that all the ordinances are in effect and that there are no conflicting current town ordinances. So, but really, if the feeling is it's something that this body would be interested in pursuing, it would be, direct, myself and staff to kind of work up what the plan would be and work with, our legal team to understand what ordinances would need to be changed. And I probably would, have a public hearing once we get some of that stuff figured out, to really hear from the residents, to understand, if it's something they really are in favor of, and then, we would look at the educational stuff and the stuff that we came up with, and, make a decision based on that.
So are we discussing the use of ATV, UTVs in the whole town of Delafield, or partially, certain roads or routes?
I think it would apply to all of the town of Delafield, and, we would, I probably, say it would apply to all town roads,
Okay.
and, designate, those routes. But I'd have to, get the feeling of, those that live along the lake, and, there's a whole lot of space on the south side of town, but that gets a little tricky because there's a lot of state highways and county highways, and
Right.
we don't probably want UTVs and ATVs on Highway 18, so.
Or even golf.
Right.
Because of the low speed?
Well, yeah, because of the
Right.
low speed and because of the high speed of like
people
Gulf
going by,
Road and.
That they shouldn't operate over 25 miles an hour? The
Yeah, I saw
UTVs,
that in here.
ATVs.
Yep, UTV may not be operated at agreed speed
I mean,
greater than 20 miles
that's,
an hour.
that's,
That limits
Or
what
not to
town
expe-
roads they can operate.
yeah, I'm all for your ATVs, but again, I think with concern to what this gentleman's saying, he has to go through a 45 mile an hour and a 35 mile an hour zone on the way to the west launch. So what does that do to Maple? And, again, the concern is the car that's going 45, not expecting on the turn, or a hill, the UTV, especially one that may be trailing something.
Yeah, nothing's easy. We
Yeah.
definitely gotta, do some research
those are the
and think
roadblocks.
about some of the, impediments and.
Oh.
Sure.
All the ATVs and UTVs in the last several years have had. And that's.
Registration. I just don't know if the Parks Department's cameras are set to. So the Parks Department's cameras operate off of detection of your vehicle license plate. I don't know if that applies to UTVs or ATVs. Curious why Pewaukee made a carve out to exclude golf carts. I
Yeah.
don't know. I guess if we're talking about like ease of use and travel and why is there a carve out for golf carts?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because that was because golf carts can't go. I just assumed kind of what you're talking about, the speed. They wanted you to be able to go
Right.
fast enough to go fast, but not too fast, and whereas golf carts aren't going to be able to go. I agree. If you're going to do it, my thought about it was it builds community. That's why I thought I would allow golf carts, but was.
So
wondering
where's the
same thing.
line, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I would just, I guess just because they did it, mean we don't have to, but that's.
I mean, my general opinion on this is I don't have an opinion, strong either way. Like, I'm not necessarily opposed to it. I'm not necessarily cheering for it. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that needs to still be addressed in it, right? Like, I know some of the other communities that have done stuff like this have had very specific ATV, UTV, pathways and like, designated roads, specifically to avoid 45 and 55 and up, mile an hour areas. I think that, I don't know, I mean, like I said, I have no strong opinion on it one way or another. And I guess, what are we looking to do tonight? I mean, are we looking to just further explore it and come up with like, because I'm not going to vote on something that we don't have like.
No, of course
more
not.
routes
No,
or
we're
anything.
not,
Yeah.
we're not
Yeah.
voting on anything and to allow it tonight. We're
Right.
just voting to
I
give,
think we'll move forward.
give myself
Possible
and,
action.
you know, the administrator, the blessing to do the further homework to come back to this body with what we find.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for the questions I'd be curious to have further answered is, specifically what roads, how they're connected, right? If there's a reasonable or good reason to carve out on golf carts, and then also, I know at least if we're going off of what Pewaukee has put together, this has got dates on it, which I lost where the dates were, but I think it was like November 1st to March 1st or something? March 31st. There it is. I guess I'd also be curious as to what the rationale is.
That was for their.
I guess I just,
Meaning,
Curious
oh,
if-
so it expires after, I didn't catch that. So meaning like,
So no one's taking their golf cart.
no one's taking their golf cart to go to the neighborhood barbecue.
oh, and then they're saying, so then this really is geared for ice fishing.
Yeah.
Which is where I'm looking at it in a broader sense.
For winter sport.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I'm not opposed to that. I just kind of like the idea if we're gonna do it, let's just
Well,
do it.
right, I mean, that's what I mean. I guess I'm, like I said, I have no strong opinion on it one way or another, but I guess, I think if we're gonna make it there, like, why are we gonna make it for half the year?
Yeah.
I think part of the problem is if we're gonna, if it's restricted to certain streets with certain miles per hour, there's no way to get to, any lake access without hitting a 45 or 55 mile an hour road, unless you are, I mean, that's it. There's not in the town. I mean, SS, I guess, is the only one that's 35, but Gulf Road, Maple Avenue, all of those to get to any.
Well,
any-
theoretically, it wouldn't be on Golf Road. You'd have to cut through the subdivision to get to
Right,
Glen Cove,
and
to get to Locks Island.
Well, Walks Island is, you may want to check with that, but I believe that's a private
It's a
easement.
private, yeah.
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 And so, I'm not sure we're in the position to offer up Walks Island as the access point. So,
Well, the main access point would be the West Boat Launch, so.
right, but then you're not on you can't get to an access point
Right, 'cause
without
you got
being
that
on a road that's 45.
So, yeah.
So, I mean, I guess that's where, if that's the reason, I don't think it fits for our application. If that's not the reason, and it's like, hey, we're open to other ways of our citizens to be able to get around and see neighbors and hang out, like, I'm certainly open to explore it, but again, from the towns that I've seen, most of them restrict it to streets that are 35 miles an hour or less, 25 miles even.
If I can
I
just
don't-
interject, if we do want to include county or state roads, we would have to get county and state approval on this as well.
So there you go. So, again, no wrong opinion either way. Happy to explore it. Not sure this, at least as this is, really accomplishes the same thing they're looking to do in Pewaukee. Right, so. That's it. That's my
So are we
piece on it.
motioning to ask staff to lightly review our options
I don't think.
to discuss the next time?
I don't even think we need a formal motion. I think
Okay.
we just have to just direct staff to look into this and see how viable it is and come back
Sounds
to
like
us.
we're all fine with it.
But at least getting more info.
Yeah.
You know, I think, I mean, because I think I'd be real curious to see like what kind of a route we could put together, right? If we're avoiding the, you know, and again, clarity on whether it's a 35-mile or 25-mile or what, but by avoiding roads that are county or state, right? Like, and sticking to town roads and seeing what kind of pathways we could put together, because if it's none, or very limited, it may be not worth the resources to do it, so.
Is Highway 18 county?
Right.
Oh, state, yeah.
Did Pewaukee have any of theirs, or is everything they did not county? I'm just looking it up. Anybody knows?
They have
off their head?
they have the piece that they've got it allowed on,
But are any of those, that's what I'm looking at, are any of those county or state? I know that they had their little area. Do you remember? No, they're not county. Okay, so that's, yeah, all right,
A local.
right. Which, there's plenty of those right by the lake too, so I suppose, yeah, okay. That, yeah, that's one of the concerns then.
Is there any other questions that you want me to?
Necessarily, no, I mean, because I'm generally, I think we're all sort of
Yeah.
not opposed, if it makes sense, yes.
Right.
All you need to?
No, I think I got everything I need to do some homework and research, so thank you, everybody. There is no unfinished business. There is no new business. The next item is closed session pursuant to the provisions in Wisconsin State Statute 19.85 paren 1 paren E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, more specifically to discuss the proposed funding options from the draft Wisconsin Policy Forum Lake Country Fire and Rescue Funding Study.
motion to move into closed session.
A second.
Motion and second to go into closed session. If you call the roll.
Supervisor Mahoney Ogden,
Present?
Supervisor Miller,
Aye.
Thank you.
Supervisor Wolfley,
Thank you.
Yes?
Supervisor Berkowitz.
Present.
Chairman Kranek.
Aye.
There's a delay in here, which is kind of nice. Yeah.
Just the two.
Yep.
Thank you.
We're back in open session. There's no action taken on the item in closed session. Items, next. Board meeting on Tuesday, March.
What's the agenda look like for that, may I ask, because that's when I'm out of town?
Town board meeting?
Yep, do we have no yet?
I don't even know what's gonna be on there yet. I won't know till Friday.
What would be a meeting, just since it's a planning thing, Luke Twelmeyer to come and answer questions from, about anything. He's willing to come. I know there was interest at the last time, so.
We can maybe have him come to the annual meeting in April.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion second to adjourn, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries 5-0, we are adjourned.
7:24.